2-point hospital. This is on Xbox One X. It is indeed enhanced, but it does not appear to be pushing towards a 4K resolution, and it does not support HDR. So this is a very interesting title. This is a hospital simulator, kind of in the design of, say, City Skylines as a good example for today. So you're running a hospital, you're upgrading things, you're creating rooms, and you're expanding your land. So this is available on console for the first time, and it does definitely carry a bit of a whimsical, kind of comedic angle to it. I'm going to try and see, I don't know if this is the one where I have my clown friend. This is one of the earlier levels, but I thought it was a good showcase because I have a lot of people going on in it, and I have a number of like rooms and everything set up. So in this you complete a number of levels, you try to get certain star scores, and with your star scores you're able to basically progress and get to the next challenge. Now there is going to be a sandbox mode, but that sandbox mode will not be available until after launch, which is a little bit disappointing to say the least. So here we go. We've got our general hospital, and then you're actually able to expand your hospital as you build new plots and hire new doctors. It's really quite interesting, and you can build larger areas that give you different rankings and different points, and it's actually really quite interesting. Just like I built this really over-the-top psychiatrist room that is ridiculous. Cool. So we're going to get into it, but I thought maybe it might be a good idea to build a brand new plot so you can kind of see the progression from the start. So you can build this here, and you can see in the bottom right we have our money, our reputation, our current level. We also have these K points, and these K points are going to allow us to basically buy a series of special items. So while that is building for our fresh start, let's take a look here and kind of show off some of the building aspects of the game. So this actually is a really interesting game. You get a number of options for things that you can build, and I think that is really cool. And you can also train your guys, and you can do like weird sort of things. So you do need certain amounts of room. It's an easy sort of drag system, which is quite neat. I don't think we have enough room for that there. Yeah, we'll cancel that, and we'll put it over here because we've got like a ton of space, because this is a new room for this area. You go to like different levels, and you can unlock like new buildings by completing, you know, the missions and everything like that. So it's quite interesting. Well, I guess we could have built there, but whatever. We'll build this one. I think that's pretty good. And then you pick sort of where you want your door to go, and then you have to place certain items in order for your little area to be accepted. So you see the list of required tools and machines, because every type of room is going to require different items and different usage. So there we go. We've got a check mark. We can now build this room. We can also go further, and we can add other things such as like a plant, and you'll see how the plant gives a little bit of a, oh, I guess we got to be out of this room for that to be done. Okay, so we'll build this. Room is set up pretty good. We got it set up there, but like I was saying, you can take an item and you can do the plant, and you can see how the greenery kind of affects the world. So there's certain elements and layerings to the game as you kind of work on these elements, you know, trying to make your hospital have a better rating, keeping wait times down low, and improving the general design of it by adding certain things like that. Gives a training bonus and everything like that, having the anatomy model. So it's quite neat. And you also have challenges, and you will also need to get new doctors, and it's got a hilarious element to it. So we do have janitors. Oh, he didn't transform. Usually when they die they become ghosts, so it's kind of funny. And then like a janitor will come up, and the janitor will like, you know, kind of deal with the ghost. Yeah, I hired a doctor, but he's supposed to go into the other room. That's what I was thinking. We need a nurse for this one. Anyways, yeah, so you have a number of people that you can hire in order to handle things, and they all have different sort of elements that make them useful in your situation, and it is quite a neat system here. So reception is kind of really busy there. And I just want to give you an idea of how you can kind of interact and build objects and do all sorts of interesting things in this one. They definitely really have mastered the hospital type simulator. And while it would be neat to have something a little bit more serious, I actually do find this hilariously entertaining. There's like, I trained clowns in my other map, and there's actually like people with like, you know, clown shoes and everything roaming around, and I thought that was quite humorous. It's definitely something you wouldn't expect to see in this. And I'm also surprised we haven't had more hospital type simulation titles, because I think this would maybe be like a genre that would be primed for a type of gaming experience, at least in my opinion. So that's kind of really neat to see that aspect of play. So it runs really well. It's got a lot of complex aspects to it, and then you've also got things such as like reports and stuff, and you can train, and you can promote your individuals in your hospital and everything like that. So we're gonna actually make a training room, because we need to get people trained in this area. And it just, again, is really quite fascinating, the different things you can do, and how clean of a simulator experience this is. Typically, you would, you know, in the past, these types of games haven't necessarily, you know, been something that the consoles can really quite achieve. So seeing this kind of game run so well here is actually great, because it's kind of really fun and really enjoyable, and it's so weird. Oh, you can also upgrade machines, so I guess we could... that one's repair. Let's see if we can find an upgrade one. Sell. Oh my god. Oh, and then there's awards every year, and there's all these extra layerings to it. And I'm a little disappointed that at launch they didn't have, you know, the Sandbox Mode, because this is the type of game where I personally don't really care for the, you know, the aspects of basically building and doing missions. I just like to build like a really cool like hospital or something like that. That's something that interests me more than, say, a, you know, a mission-based thing. But there are a number of missions here, and it is something that is coming. So I think that is interesting. We are at like a turbo speed right now, so everything is going like really quite fast. What are we doing? Sure, we'll do it. Customer service. Yeah, okay. Start training. Not now, not now. Okay. And then you're discovering illnesses, and you're treating things with like silly methods and stuff like that. It's really quite interesting. Do we need more janitors? We've got a lot of them. We probably need more assistants though to run things. But yeah, and then you got these other tallies, so you can see like all your staff that's being paid, what they're like, getting information on them and stuff, and you can train them and send them to work. You can give them a break. There's like a break room. You can see their moods, their stats, their log. So it's kind of like it gives you a lot of complex management things, and then you can also adjust like the pricing for things, so that people, you know, either will pay more or they'll pay less. It is a neat aspect. And then you can see like regularly we have all these different items that are available. So we build like benches, and then we can unlock new things, because I've got like 190 points. I don't know if I was saving for hand sanitizer or something cooler like arcade machines and stuff like that. But you get the context of what I mean. Just basically, you know, building, working on your hospital, finishing challenges, and completing the tasks and everything like that. And of course, like, I could move on and I can go to a different area, which I've already done because it's one of the earlier ones. But yeah, it's just like a very interesting type of experience. It's something very different. So we'll do that there. And yeah, so we put one here too. So obviously the more complex thing, and I just love how there's like these little elements that you can kind of add to it. There's a lot of depth here, like a surprising amount of depth to this game, and I was quite impressed with it. I think they do a really good job here. They have a lot of interesting content, a lot of things you can do, a lot of missions you can tackle, a lot of situations you can have, and just a lot of fun to be had. Like, I find this is like sort of a funny, sort of enjoyable kind of game. I didn't think they would necessarily take the whimsical route, and I think that kind of works out well for it. Should I put a water fountain? Yeah, who cares, right? I didn't necessarily think they would take this kind of route with this game. Like, I was expecting something more serious, because I hadn't really read into it, and I haven't really, you know, done a whole lot of looking into this, but it's a really interesting sort of experience. Do we want another deluxe, or maybe like a Pan's Lab? I think we have one of those though. Clown Clinic. So you get those like silly narratives, and you get the more intense stuff. Like, I mean, this is like literally a clown lab, right? Like, why would you need this? And then you have actual clowns walking around doing weird things. But you can see it's all running very cleanly. It looks really good visually. It's got some funny stuff to it. It's weird that they haven't done like a serious sort of like, you know, simulator for this type of thing, because like a hospital would be like something that would really work well for that type of thing. And then they have extra elements where you're doing missions. You gotta keep your product loss and everything going well. Not now, not now. You promote people, and you can do different missions and stuff. It's got a lot of content to it, and I hope I've been showing off you know, a good amount of what it actually presents, because I do think this is a very interesting sort of game. It's definitely something that is different and unique and fun and funny, because I mean, this is like just like clowns walking around, right? That's, to me, I find that kind of hilarious, but I know other people might be more serious about the action. But yeah, it's very unique. It's easy to build with. It's got a lot of items that you can build stuff with, like items whether or not you want them in, say, like, you know, the actual rooms, or if you want them outside the rooms. I just think it's neat, and it's so like flawlessly easy to be able to kind of place things down how you want them, rotate them, set up your own little environments, and create your own hospitals. I kind of find that a little bit entertaining and unique, especially as you try to keep people happy. And then when they die, you know, the ghosts and everything like that is kind of a funny aspect. I've been trying to see somebody die for like a ghost, but it hasn't really, you know, caught my attention. And obviously there's more rooms I could build, and I can increase the level, and obviously we need more psychiatry people because there's a huge line there. But you get the gist of like what's going on in 2 Point Hospital. It's quite an interesting title. It's got a lot of fun to it. Easygoing building, lots of challenges, lots of missions to take in, and when the sandbox gameplay comes in, I think that's going to be even more enticing, because that is something that I quite enjoy. So it also includes DLC, if you're familiar with the title, so Bigfoot and Pepperly Island, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, this is a great experience. I'm really happy to see it on the platform. I think it kind of runs really well. It's neat dealing with all these weird people. Like, there's some strange kind of like jokey type health crises you're dealing with. A lot of neat problems as you earn money, earn reputation, unlock new buildings, and progress, and maybe even get some clowns going on. I don't know. You know, you do you in your hospital. Oh no, somebody's very sick and thirsty. They were in the hospital for 249 days. Damn! Obviously we need to increase our efficiency, but I hope you enjoyed this look at 2 Point Hospital. It's really quite a neat game, and I have thoroughly enjoyed playing it and doing a number of the challenges, working through the missions, and look forward to jumping back in when Sandbox comes out, because I think that's something that's a bit more up my alley in regards to these simulator type titles. That's an aspect I really do enjoy in them, but I know some people really like the challenge. Did I need that many reception desks? I don't think so. But I built them because I wanted to, and because I could.